trauma of the disease itself is very, very unforgiving. It is an event, and the injury happens, and there's no going back. What happens to you right after that really, really matters.
Time is what we're working against when we're out there. We're a group of type A personalities that push each other to the limit, and we're going to give that every day, no matter what.
The truck hit me in the side, and then I hit the ground flat on my back in the ditch. The only thing I could move was my head and my arms, and I couldn't figure out why my body wouldn't move. And I looked down to see what was wrong. I thought maybe my back was broken, and when I looked down, I could see that one of my legs, my left leg, was kind of mangled up behind my back, and my insides were exposed.
When we loaded Tammy on the LifeFlight, I didn't think it was going to be very good. I didn't expect her to make it, actually.
From her chest up, she was great. But then when you look below her chest, it was just, it was horrible. She had had a lot of blood loss, and we realized, hey, her only chance is for the system to work.
I remember getting this specific call from the LifeFlight nurses who said, this lady needs to go right to the OR. She's been split in half. So we picked her right from the helipad, and we went right to the operating room. And when I saw this injury, I knew that I would need help from my colleagues. Then for the next several weeks, we slowly reconstructed her.
The first time I can remember waking up, Dr. Miller came in and explained to me what my injuries were, and he held my hand and he said, give me 1 year and I'll have you back as close to normal as I can. I'm very grateful to Vanderbilt. The response time was what saved my life and the quality of care that I got.
She has gone through multiple processes of the grieving issues of having colostomy, having difficulty urinating. She also fractured her femur, which was a big issue too, and that was an open fracture, and that had its own problems. She really has fought at major adversity to get to where she has today, and she will not give up. She does not give up.
I just wasn't willing to give in to being totally dependent on other people. I enjoy riding horses. I go to work every day. I take care of my home, and I don't take life for granted anymore. I stop to smell the roses.
Tammy Watt, it's all about you. Have some fun with it tonight, cowgirl. Bring her home!
I think he said giddy up, and he started running, then he kind of stopped and he kind of fell off.
I got to Dad and he said, I can't move. So I rolled him to his back and he said, I can't breathe. So I said, well, I'll breathe for you. So that's what I did. It only took about 2 minutes after they called LifeFlight for them to get here.
I suspected that he had probably injured his C-spine in the accident. We both knew that it was really a very serious injury.
He began to have some respiratory distress, and he was not able to breathe very well on his own. And we went ahead and initiated an airway for him there on the helipad.
When I pray, and God listens to my prayers, and I think when I've been praying, he's getting better. I'm thankful that he's really getting better.
Dad was taken by fixed wing to Atlanta, where we chose to have him rehab.
Jim had an episode where his heart rate decreased. He went basically unconscious, and his respirations slowed. We ventilated him, placed his head down, and acted promptly, and gave him some medication, which brought his heart rate back up. And remarkably, I mean, he woke up and started talking within just maybe 40, 50 seconds.
They did all the right things and brought my dad back, and so he made it safely to Shepherd in Atlanta. He's still paralyzed from the neck down, pretty much. He can shrug his shoulders, but mentally and emotionally, he's great. He's just taking it one day at a time and keeping his faith. And, you know, I told him in the trauma unit, I said, I know God made you the extreme optimistic person that you are for this moment in time. But whatever happens, we still all have each other, and that's the most important thing.
He's just a wonder to me. And I wish he gets better.
When we landed, we're used to going to the EMS when they have the patient, and the EMS were actually running at us. Vividly remember asking the medic, is he breathing? He looked up at me and said no, and he hasn't been for several minutes. And we felt for a pulse and didn't have one. The entire time we had him, he was completely unresponsive. We never saw one bit of neurological function in this kid. So I thought, this is very sad. This is a young man who seems to have been doing everything right, and regardless, he's probably going to die, and his parents don't know where he's at right now. That's a pretty horrible feeling.
A lot of fathers have asked me what it's like to get that phone call, you know, and I think that's what every parent thinks about. He's the kind of kid that just go, oh, no, it's not time for you to go.
It was kind of surreal how well it all went. I mean, they were just there, and the system that they have in place is just unbelievable. I mean, that's why he's here. As a mom, one of the sweetest times was at Stallworth when I finally got to climb up in the bed and just lay down with him. And then another one was when I was at the rehab with him all day. They had him take about 4 or 5 steps up to the door, and he was just wiped out. But that was the most beautiful thing I'd seen. That he was going to be able to walk again.
I think I'm here to pass this story along, a story of hope. I wouldn't be alive, you know, if it weren't for the LifeFlight, Sheldon, Dr. Gilman-Deggy, and the other people that I haven't gotten to meet and even get their names, but it's just so much thanks to them. Each component of it all coming together, and you're like, wow, how did that all orchestrate that way, you know? And it's just a good story of hope, that's for sure.
All right, yeah, we'll catch up, and I'll see you. All right, that'll be great.
These anonymous people who we didn't know that morning and we couldn't find that day, these people have their son back, and that's a good feeling.
When I hear LifeFlight now, I know someone's been critically injured, but there's a sense of comfort to know they're on their way to Vanderbilt.
We're grateful that it happened when it did so that he could be saved. We still have him.
When you finally experience it, you just see how minutes and seconds mean everything.
I've just learned that life is short and nobody can tell you when you're gonna die. It's just a very humbling moment.
May the wings of